This is an SM Media production. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show. I'm Scott Pike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. I'd like to welcome this week's special guest. It's a pleasure to welcome on. We finally got there. It's a pleasure to welcome on Gaz Williams. Gaz, welcome to the show. We've finally got there. It's been a long time since we've planned this, but we're finally there.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
Nah, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward
everyone.
to this. So I'm looking forward to this. It should be a good show. We've got a lot to talk about. We obviously are recording this on a Sunday night. We've just finished watching NXT Halloween Havoc. We're going to go through it kind of match for match because it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, Gaz, did you watch it as well? What was your kind of overall thoughts on it?
I watched through half of it, and I think the only thing I missed out was the main event, and because last night it was a long show and I felt a lot tired. But other than that, I actually enjoyed the few of the matches.
It was a good show. We'll start with the ladder match. I thought with this show it was a lot of. There was some very good matches, but there were some matches we could probably say were not great, and we'll get into it maybe throughout the course of the pod. But we'll start with the ladder match for the North American Championship. Nathan Fraser, Wes Lee, Oro Mensah, Von Wagner, and Carmelo Hayes all in a 5-man ladder match. It went about 20 minutes. There was a lot of high spots. It was kind of non-stop. You were off your seat for all of it. It was one of those things where it was a typical NXT ladder match. I would say there was a lot to focus on. I think the right guy won. Wesley obviously went over. I think that made sense. I thought that was the right call for him to win.
I actually agree. I actually was expecting Wesley to win it just because I actually enjoyed a few of his matches when he was in WWE and before he was in WWE, and other than that, I'm happy that he actually got the chance to win that. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the situation he had with MSK, that obviously was making you kind of want him to win. I thought it was between him and Carmelo Hayes, to be honest. I like Hayes as well. I thought Von Wagner's actually the MVP of this match because he was just the typical kind of big guy in a ladder match, just taking everything, just the kind of bruiser. I liked it. I liked the whole match. Anything stand out to you from it? Like, what would you say was the kind of, if I was to give you one thing that you would take away from it, what would it be?
It's hard to answer that because I actually was so focused how fun the match was. I was like so pure. So it's hard to explain, but it's like I actually enjoyed the match. It was because I was too busy for enjoying it. But honestly, I think Wagner would be that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that Wagner was doing
because he reminds me of Edge, and when it comes to other matches, because it's just that feeling like it's like he's reminds me of Edge.
Yeah, I know it was a good match. I thought it was overall probably I think the best match of the night is the last one, but I think it set a really good bar. The next one I want to talk about, the spin your wheel match between Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller, which then became a casket match. They could have done anything but a casket match.
I mean, it could be anything. I wouldn't mind if it was something else. Honestly, wasn't expecting it to be a casket match.
I didn't think it would be a casket match either. It was weird. There was a lot of it, and it was just. I mean, Apollo took a really hard bump in the ropes really early on. It was I think it was obviously. I think the lights went out really kind of early on in that match. I think that was why. I think they had to really kind of. I think he was struggling with that, but obviously come back in. I think I do like Grayson Waller. I do think he'll be a pretty good prospect down the line. Apollo Crews is probably the right guy. The right guy won again. Apollo Crews is someone who you probably thought would go on when he was in NXT originally. You probably thought he would go on and be one of the top guys in WWE, but he just never ever really got there. This is the perfect time for him just to be in here. Kind of a lot of young guys in NXT he can work with, and we'll see where it goes.
I actually was I was honestly hoping they can do something with Apollo when he came back to NXT, because I had a feeling like I was also a bit nervous about what they're going to do him, because it's like what they did with Brodus Clay and Justin Gabriel when they went on to NXT. And I was like, oh no, they're going to give him that treatment, I think. But other than that, I'm happy that he's getting more opportunities in NXT.
Yeah, next
like
match
he did on the main roster.
Yeah, next match was the Weapons World match. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, two fantastic prospects. Two really, they're the future. They're the future of women's wrestling. I really enjoyed this match. There was a lot of it. The skateboard, the pepper spray. There's just so much to it. The right person won as well. Roxanne Perez. Is she the one to dethrone Mandy down the line? I think there's a lot to like from these two in this match. I thought this was actually really good.
I was actually believing that one was my favorite. It has to be my favorite one, because normally you don't see women matches do crazy things like that. But other than that, don't get me wrong, there have been great women matches, but this one has to be my favorite one of all time.
Really? Really?
Because it just brings me joy just seeing someone brings out a skateboard to hit them with it. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Went well. I do think there's a lot to like about these two down the line. Next match, ambulance match, Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp. Obviously, the Diamond Mine connection to this. Again, the right person won. Julius Creed. It was okay. It wasn't brilliant. I thought both were a bit. It was off and on for a lot of time. It wasn't. The chemistry wasn't brilliant, but
yeah,
it was okay. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was my favourite match of the night, but it was okay for what it was.
I think I'll be on the same boat as you. I think it would be an okay match. It wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was. I do like the Diamond Mine idea. Yeah. I don't know if Damon Kemp's going to move up maybe to the main roster or do something else. I don't know what the plan is there, but yeah, I mean, it's the two guys have obviously got bright futures, and this is what obviously NXT is now. It's the future. You don't have the independent guys coming in, and for that, I thought it was okay. The next match, what I thought was the match was weird, but the promo, the kind of segment with Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire, as we know now, but chasing Toxic Attraction into the kind of roundabout the backstage, I thought it was brilliant. I thought that was one of my highlights of the night. The match as well, Mandy Rose against Alba Fire. It was fine for what I wasn't overly brilliant. I thought it'd be much better than it was. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. And I actually had a feeling that Mandy Rose would win the match. But other than that, I actually thought it was a good match anyway, you know. Well, you know.
It was just lacking that top, like I just thought it was lacking that kind of top match. I was probably looking forward to this match more than anything in the card. Like,
yeah.
Obviously we know Kaylee Ray, we know obviously we'll probably know her, but you were thinking, I didn't think maybe she would win, but I thought it would certainly be a good spectacle. I preferred the before the match rather than the match itself, and that's the one. But the final match in the card was excellent from start to finish. It was excellent. Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, and JD McDonough, triple threat. My worry going into this match is that Dragunov and McDonough would be carrying Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker was excellent. It just we clicked so well. This was my favourite match probably of the past couple of months. Everything it just clicked so well. Everybody was so good in it. I really enjoyed this. This was my favourite match of the card, easily my favourite match of recent times.
Yeah, I honestly say Braun Breaker is my favourite wrestler on an NXT roster at the moment, just because he does good promos and good matches, and he actually has actually got his dad's personality and the Scott Steiner vocals when it comes to promos.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but other than that, I would say I would imagine it would be an excellent match.
I enjoyed it, loved it, loved. It was my top match of the night. I think you've got obviously Braun Breaker's going to be in the future, but you've got two really good guys in there like McDonough and Dragunov. They're just going to be, again, obviously they came away from NXT UK. They went into the main part of NXT. They're going to be fine. They're going to be. I recently with obviously the NXT kind of going to the 2.0 thing. I was like, am I going to be as invested as I was back in a bit? I still am. There's a lot to like about this NXT plan.
I would be on the same boat. Like, even though people think NXT 2.0 wasn't as good until they brought back the one people always wanted, I would honestly think it'd still be good.
Yeah, no, but it was fine. It was good. There's a lot to like. We'll do so obviously some stuff kind of later on in the month about obviously what's coming up with Crown Jewel and things like that. But for an overall show, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was the first match and the last match stood out. There was a couple of things in between. I loved the backstage segment, but it was an overall good show. I would say I was certainly invested in it.
I would honestly be invested as well because NXT always brings in the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll move on to talking about yourself. Obviously, your career in wrestling so far. Going with that, I take it you were a fan growing up. Who was your favourites back in the day?
I started becoming a wrestling fan. I started getting into the wrestling when in 2008 because I was staying at my uncle's at the night and he was watching the last episode of SmackDown before Night of Champions, and I actually got into it a lot more. And then when I started people beating the crap out of each other, I actually thought it was hilarious. Just people hearing people screaming. And then when I started watching more WWE shows, I became more invested in starting liking all these wrestlers like Batista, John Cena, Edge, Kane, Triple H, Jeff Hardy, and even Chris Jericho. And then I started watching more wrestling shows like TNA and Ring of Honor.
Right. Okay.
And then I started getting into a lot into more wrestling, and then I started watching more wrestling shows when I just turned 16 or 17. Like I started watching a bit of ICW, which made me want to become a wrestler. I think my inspiration, what wrestler that inspired me to become a wrestler was either would be Edge and John Cena and Triple H.
Okay.
Hell,
nice.
even
Nice. When did you start? When did you get the idea you could do it? When did you start training?
I started training at March 12th, 2017, and I started joining a wrestling school called PBW.
Right.
It was around not far. It was around. It was just not far from where I lived.
Okay.
Because they had, I think they had like three. No, they actually they had three schools at the time, but then it just turned into two. Because there was one in Barhead, there was one in Airdrie and Greenock. But I joined the Barhead one because it was not far from me.
Right, okay. What about your first? When was your first match?
I debuted and it was unbelievable when I got my name mentioned and people started looking at me with smiles. I was like, "What's going on?" And then I started realizing, "Oh, I'm getting my debut match," and I debuted on December 28th, 2018, and it was against Dean Ford,
right?
Who I'm thankful for him to be my first opponent and help me with the match to make it good.
Brilliant.
Even though the gear I had on was not great, but I still had a good match.
Brilliant. What about your kind of career so far? Like highlights, like where have you worked? Like what promotions have you worked for, and what kind of sticks out in your early career?
Well, I have not been wrestled on. Well, I have wrestled on two gala shows. So I think before when COVID hit, I think the highlight of my match is when I had a match with someone who also helped me in my wrestling journey, named Ace Anderson.
Right.
He was the last person it was my last singles match that I've had just before COVID.
Okay.
And other than that, I'm thankful for him for helping me with that.
Brilliant. That's really good. What about you kind of going forward? Like, where would you like to work? Like, what's your ambitions and kind of expectations in wrestling? Like, where would you, and how important is like building a relationship with the crowd as well? Like the amount of matches you've had, what kind of stands out with building a match with a crowd?
I mean, it's a bit of a mix because I usually sometimes struggle to get out of my comfort zone, and I do the best I can to get the crowd invested on like enjoy the matches and all that stuff. And when I tried and did it in the gal show, it was was not bad, but but they just started chanting, Ed Sheeran at me because they've obviously wanted just chanting that name because they think my hair's red and all that stuff. Like, fair enough, and I just let it slide and just get the crowd going and all that stuff. And at the moment, my at the moment I'm booked for Copenhagen on Lock next Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it because it was nice of them to do so because I used to train with Luke King Sharp, and hopefully next year I'll be getting booked on more shows. Like I honestly want my main the shows I would like to wrestle on is like Pro 2 wrestling because I've heard great things about the show, and I would love to be a part of the roster and see how it goes.
Brilliant. No, that'd be good. As well as that, obviously, we do a wee quick fire round in this show where we put you on the spot. We're going to give you some quick fire questions and you're going to answer them on the spot. Are you ready?
Yeah, go.
Right. First one, what's your favourite match you've had so far?
Ace Anderson.
Brilliant. Dream opponent?
Martin Kirby.
Martin Kirby, nice. Dream opponent in WWE or AEW?
Johnny Gargano in WWE, and if AEW, Christian Cage.
Brilliant. 3 people in the UK scene you would like to start a faction with?
BT Gunn and Andy Wilde.
Brilliant. Favourite TV match? So what's the best match you've ever seen live? Yeah, on
TV. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, NXT New Orleans.
Brilliant. If I was to give you a contract for WWE or AEW, where would you sign?
WWE.
Brilliant. And the final question, your dream arena, where would you like to work?
The Hammerstein Ballroom.
Brilliant. So a night ECW thing?
I love ECW and I love Ring of Honor because they have like wonderful matches in that venue. Like you cannot forget those moments. Like it's like WrestleMania and Bound for Glory at the same time, but it's in New York City. But the best venue I can honestly would love to wrestle in.
Brilliant. Guys, it's been a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you very much for joining me. I've really enjoyed it.
No problem, Scott. Thank you so much for having me here.
Brilliant. Best of luck for you. Best of luck for the rest of your career.
Thanks, anyway.
Cheers.
Bye now.